I was really overwhelmed with the amount of assessment I was trying to do in kindergarten that first year. And I was really trying to figure out, how do I make this a better process for not only myself but for my children as well? Because if I'm taking too long to get it accomplished, I'm not getting as much done for them. And so I really wanted to figure out something to do for them. And so with my money from the grant, I purchased 2 iPads with covers. But the main part that I focused on was there was a program I found online that's called ESGI software. And it really streamlined that assessment process for me. So that's what I focused mainly on, but the iPads were a big part of that because you can use those iPads to give the assessment, but also once the assessment's over, you can use those iPads to help them build and work on those skills that they are needing help with, or to just move ahead and go forward and work on things that are beyond their skill level. So this was just my poster I had, but it had some information. So I talked about the ability of a kindergarten student to show proficiency on their benchmark assessments is an early indicator of a student's ability to transition from letter recognition into reading. The goal of this project is to use the resources that have been obtained to assess these students in a more efficient and timely manner. This in turn will help these students acquire those foundational skills that will ensure that they are on the road to reading as soon as possible. And this just says, you know, the ESGI assessments were administered using those iPads. You can also use your computer if you don't have iPads. And they were administered in a one-on-one setting, and the iPads were used to offer the additional support to the students. And the ESGI, their kind of motto is click, click, done, assess, analyze, and teach. And the thing I love about the ESGI is the data that you get. You can do the assessments online, but it breaks down all that data for you. And I didn't have to spend so much time figuring out, okay, what letter is my kindergarten student struggling the most on, because it tells me. It does item analysis for the whole class. It does item analysis for the children. It does it all for you. And that was so much of my time that was freed up to assess them more often and help them with those skills. And so they say they can save you 400 hours. Now, they're not going to save you 400 hours just in the assessment time, but in the time I spent analyzing that data and trying to figure out where I needed to focus most of my efforts on, that's where I really saved my time. And it reduces or eliminates your paper that you use. You increase the number of assessments that you can give to your students. You decrease the amount of time spent compiling the data. Item analysis automatically is generated. Individual and group analysis available, and it automatically creates parent letters and flashcards, which I really love. So it comes with a already typed up parent letter that you can send home, but it's also editable, so you can make that personalized. And even when it has the automatically generated one, it puts the student's name in for you. It doesn't say student, or it automatically puts that child's name in. And I'll have a few examples in here for you to see. But one thing that I like about this is, previously, this was my assessment, is I would use like this would be my beginning of the year. I'd have to get out my folder and start flipping through here and seeing what the students know, each student. And so I'd have to flip through here. And then I would come over here and I have a tab for each of my students. And by the end of this year, this would be really full. This was just what I had. So some of you are nodding, you know what this is, and this is familiar. But like this was just what I had just up till I received my stuff. So I've got my tabs going on for each child. And if I wanted to know what everybody was doing, I have to like flip through here and find each kid, find what they were doing, and try and figure it out that way. And that is not the most beneficial way to do that, I don't think. I really love ESGI, and it is a little expensive if you've tried to do it on your own. I was grateful that I had the opportunity to have this grant to try it out, kind of for free or whatever. So I didn't spend my own money to decide whether I liked it or not. And I really love it. And whether or not I get another grant, this is something I will continue to purchase for my classroom. It is $199 for the year, but you can put up to, I think, 200 students. So maybe people could get together, you know, and use that as a resource to share. Or a district could come, you know, several grades, 200 students, that's quite a few students. So these are some of the features that they claim. They have over 200 preloaded assessments, or you can make your own. You also, if you make one or your coworkers make one, you can share those assessments within your district with everybody. It gives all kinds of charts, graphs, and reports. It has customized parent letters. You can share assessments. There's free administrator accounts. And you can schedule parent conferences. There is so much in that program that I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg about what I'm trying to figure out about this, but as far as the assessment, that's what I was really concerned with. This is one of the assessment options. So as you can see, like, here are some of the people, and these are probably some familiar names to some of you. Like, I know Dr. Jean is on here, Greg Smedley Warren. I don't know if any of you know him, follow him. He's a kindergarten smorgasbord guy. Heidi Songs. I mean, all of these people make assessments for ESGI, and you can use their assessments. You can make your own. So here you can create your own. You can use some, if you just really love somebody, you can use theirs. Over there, stock tests. And I just love all the options that it has. These are some of my students. This is them working on the iPads when they're not being assessed, and this is me assessing. So I've got it in the background. You can see you can do it on the computer or you can do it with the iPad. So I really enjoyed that. One thing I would do differently in the future is the type of case I bought. I bought the little case that when you close it, it turns it off, but that's not really kid friendly. So I would probably get something better for the kids. But they did really well because it kind of acted as a stand also when it was flipped back. So here's like a little example of the data that it gave me. So this is a class summary, and this was my most recent data. So for uppercase letters, only 5% of my students do not know all of their uppercase letters. And then 7% on their lowercase, 11% on their sounds. And then I also threw in write your name because I want to make sure I'm keeping track of who can really write their name really well, because that's something they're really struggling with. So 13% of them are still working on that, and it breaks it down. So 20 out of 23 can write their name really well, what I would just consider like ready to go on. And here is a chart, and I blocked her name out, but this was one of my girls from the beginning of the year. And you can see she started out, she did not know any of her uppercase letters. So this is uppercase. She started out, when she came to me, she did not know any uppercase. And then by the time I gave her assessment, not very long, she knew all of her uppercase. So she progressed really quickly. Whereas this child, this is another student, and this is also uppercase. When I first assessed this student, didn't know any. But it took a little longer, but as you can see, they're getting really close and they're almost there. So I really love the data that it gives me. And it breaks it down so, it's just so user-friendly. This is an example of like an item analysis, and this is test question, like if you click on it, test question M. So this, I've got her name blocked out, but so she did not know test question M. And so it's uppercase letters, and if you look at it, it starts here. This is letter A, and this one's in alphabetical order, but everybody knows letter A. Everybody knows letter B. So as it goes through here, it tells you what letters they know, which ones they don't know. This is an example of your parent letter. So this was like a stock, what it says. And you can change this if you want to. And over here is a few of the options. So you can print item analysis, parent letters, flashcards, pie charts. And here, this is also part of the parent letter. This is this child's. She has this correct, and these are incorrect, correct, incorrect. And so it just really breaks it down for the parent as well, not just for you. And this is from the experts. Some of these people you may know. And it's just, they really love ESGI, and they're part of it too. And I follow the kindergarten smorgasbord. I really follow him. He does lots of fun things in kindergarten. And then Dr. Jean and Heidi, I'm sure some of you know them, and they really love ESGI, and I'm a big fan too now. So, and that's it. And if you have any questions, and I have a little handout if you want to look at it. And ESGI also offers a 60-day free trial, but I would suggest wait till like August so you can start your free trial. Maybe not now, it wouldn't be great, but you know.
Would you say that you actually used a lot of their preloaded, or were you making your own assessments in this?
I found a few of the preloaded, but I like to make my own. Like, even though, like with the uppercase, I liked that they already had an uppercase, but I wanted to stick with what everybody else in kindergarten was using, so I wanted to put it in the format and the flow that they use, so I just made my own. But it was really quick and easy to make. Yeah. So, all right, thank you very much.